does very well, and she wins games, and she puts butts in the seats, and she sells tickets, and she gets people tuning in on television. And all really we want to hear from anybody about this is thank you to Caitlin Clark for making our league relevant and so on. But instead, she's been bullied repeatedly by the players in this league. She's been assaulted physically. She's been scratched in the eye. And I mean, all this is on camera. We've covered it.
The WNBA is facing major turbulence after Caitlin Clark revealed hard truths about the league. Known for speaking up only when it counts, she delivered a no-holds-barred interview, highlighting the unfair treatment she's endured, from excessive physical play on the court to the league's obvious neglect. She spoke candidly and left nothing unsaid.
Caitlin Clark was just named Time's 2024 Athlete of the Year, and she gave her most vulnerable interview yet, even commenting on some of the most controversial issues surrounding her this year.
Even amid the chaos and harsh treatment, Caitlin remained resilient, not for the WNBA, but for her fans who trust her and support the growth of women's basketball. She's the reason people keep watching, proving that the sport can be thrilling, competitive, and completely worth it.
It here that it was so much harder going to the WNBA, but also that she was able to rise to the occasion and become.
The WNBA has hit a new low, something I didn't think was even possible. Caitlin Clark, a rookie phenom, record breaker, and walking highlight reel, exposed the league for what it really is, a circus of incompetence pretending to be professional basketball. She rewrote history in her first year, and in return, all she gets is a front-row view of the league's masterclass in mishandling greatness.
Players of the WNBA can't fucking stand her. Why? Because she's white. It's abject, absolute racism. It's total rape.
Let's talk stats. Caitlin Clark isn't just talented, she's legendary. She set 6 rookie records, broken 4 franchise records, and even tallied 19 assists in a single game, smashing the league's previous record. On top of that, she was named Time Magazine's Athlete of the Year for 2024. Yet somehow, the league continues to treat her like just another player, which, apparently, is standard operating procedure in the WNBA.
Cheryl Swoops and others who were clearly distant and dismissive of her, no matter how much they try to deny it. There was resentment towards her, and here's why I said it was stupid.
In her eye-opening Time Magazine interview, Caitlin openly addressed the nonsense she's had to endure. Picture this: Olympic snubs, relentless physical aggression on the court, and a league that seems to feed off media chaos. Rather than focusing on real basketball, the WNBA acts almost allergic to success. Instead of supporting and promoting its rising stars, it practically hands them Target jerseys and says, "Good luck."
Fell victim to being in the middle of all of these controversies. So the fact that she saw some of that and she feels that way.
Let's talk about the physicality. Caitlin's rookie season felt like the Hunger Games. One insane moment came during a game against the Chicago Sky, where Chindy Carter not only shoved her but also called her a derogatory name. And how did the league respond to this blatant aggression? Nothing. No fines, no suspensions, just a friendly pat on the back for Carter. It seems the WNBA treats itself like WWE, where drama and violence are the main ticket sellers.
2-time league champion and now 3-time WNBA MVP, told the Associated Press she thought Clark's race was a huge contributor to her popularity. "It doesn't matter what we all do as Black women, we're still going to be swept underneath the rug. That's why it boils my blood when people say it's not about race."
Then there was the notorious clash with Victoria Vivian during a game against the Seattle Storm. Because why settle for one scandal when you can have a whole series? The league's response? A masterclass in doing absolutely nothing. Meanwhile, Caitlin kept her head down, calling it part of the game. That she hasn't completely lost her cool says more about her patience than the WNBA's professionalism.
I want to say I've earned every single thing, but as a white person, there is privilege. A lot of these players in the league that have been really good have been Black players. This league is kind of built on them. The more we can appreciate that, highlight that, talk about that, and then continue to have brands and companies invest in those players that have made this league incredible, I think that's important. I have to continue to try to change that. The more we can elevate Black women, that's going to be a beautiful.
Caitlin gets poked in the eye. visibly shaken. And the WNBA's response? Silence. The players' union rushes to defend Carrington. The media spins it into a spectacle, and Caitlyn herself has to step in to calm things down. Imagine if this happened in the NBA. If someone poked Steph Curry in the eye, the league would act like a national emergency. In the WNBA, just another Tuesday.
For 22 plus years, they had been flying commercial. They were begging for chartered flights. She arrives there, and 2 weeks later, they got chartered flights.
And to top off this disaster Sunday, Caitlin Clark, who shattered 64 records in her rookie season, was snubbed from the Paris 2024 Olympic roster. Yet the WNBA chose to prioritize legacy players like Diana Taurasi over one of the league's most dynamic talents. Let's call it what it is: pure politics. Caitlyn outscored, outperformed, and outshined, but apparently being too good is now considered a problem.
Tide lifts all boats. She's trying to be the rising tide that lifts the boat.
The explanation they'll give for leaving her out? Something about team dynamics or experience. But let's be real. This was about protecting the old guard, the so-called legends who haven't done anything groundbreaking since flip phones existed. Meanwhile, Caitlyn is transforming the game. Yet she's kept on the sidelines while the league wonders why fans aren't tuning in. What's infuriating is that Caitlyn handles all this with far more grace than the WNBA deserves. She isn't asking for handouts or a free pass to the Olympics. She just wants to be judged on her talent, something the league seems incapable of. In the NBA, she'd already be the face of the league, but in the WNBA, she's just another name to mismanage.
Automatically and instantaneously improve the conditions. Attendance is still lagging. WNBA is still losing money compared to what you would hope it would earn, but clearly things are on an upward trending trajectory. It's improving, and she has everything.
Here's the deal. If you're going to critique, at least know the basics. But the media's approach is to spin every minor incident into a headline-grabbing circus. Tyrese Hellern trips over his shoelaces. Crickets. Caitlin Clark gets shoved, poked, or caught in mild drama. Cue the media frenzy. And don't get me started on the Christine Brennan fiasco after the Carrington incident. Brennan's questions weren't just tone-deaf. They were downright embarrassing. Even the WNBA Players Union had to step in and tell her to back off. Clark herself called the questions inappropriate and unnecessary, which politely says, "What were you thinking?" From the bench, she remarked that she wasn't sure Brennan even understood what happened and doubted anyone would be cheering over such an incident.
Full of the folks, primarily the white folks, who basically disenfranchised y'all all of these years before she came along, who denied you the acclaim and the allure and the profits you richly deserved. But you don't take that out on Caitlin Clark. Not her.
Despite Brennan's obvious attempt to provoke Joan Carrington, Caitlyn handled everything with far more grace than either the WNBA or Brennan deserved. She kept things classy, showing a level of restraint amid chaos that's nothing short of remarkable. If the league had any sense, they'd be taking notes. Instead, they let the media weaponize narratives around race, gender, and sports for cheap clicks. Why celebrate Caitlyn's jaw-dropping rookie season when you can exploit manufactured controversy? Caitlin Clark called out the chaos in the WNBA, noting how political pundits and media often turn games into tabloid messes, unlike the NBA where physicality is about the sport. She isn't waiting for the league to fix itself. Turning down the new unrivaled league, she's focused on improving her game, training harder than ever, and elevating her craft. Her partnership with new coach Stephanie White is already paying off, providing the structure and strategy she needs, unlike last season's disorganized coaching under Christie.